What's going on? All right, getting my coffee set up. I'm on time today. That's not always easy. Coffee signs, tablet. Wow, you got some questions. All right, and here we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Wednesday, August 14th, 2019. My name is Jeremy, and this is a sign, but this is my first cup of coffee. In the first cup mug. If you're drinking your coffee out of a first cup mug, you should comment that at some point, because I want to know who's drinking coffee out of a first cup mug. Well, man, yesterday was a pretty good day. Unfortunately, I had one no-show and one cancellation for 2 podcasts, which meant I did not record those podcasts, which made me very sad. Because they were both people I wanted to talk to. I really hate when people no-show. And somehow I hate it more when that person is a celebrity. When celebrities no-show on me, it comes across like they think they're better. Like they're too good for my show. Which is weird because they agree to come on the show. And then we negotiate a date and a time and logistics and all of those things. And then they're just like, I'm not going to show up. But I try to assume the best. So in this case, I'm assuming that this was not intentional. And we'll hopefully get a second chance with this person. But if I have to put them on the gray list, I will. The gray list is a group of people who have blown me off enough times or done various things that I no longer invite them. And if they were to come to me, they would have to present that in a way that made me feel like they were actually going to show up. The blacklist is a group of people who have blown me off enough times and no-showed multiple times that I just won't schedule with them again. That's a very small list. Ironically enough, that list only has people on it that you've heard of. Isn't that weird? Oh well. My neck's tight. Worked out last night. Neck is stiff. I cut my hair too. You can probably see that. And I have my hoop nose ring in. Been messing around with that. I don't know. Makes me feel like I'm younger. So it's today. What am I doing today? Had a phone meeting with someone working on a new whistlekick product. Now, for those of you who watch this show every day, you know that on Friday I was supposed to have something similar, and I didn't because my car was stupid. And we're gonna tackle this by phone. We're gonna attempt to. What else am I doing? You know that. Oh. Coaching CrossFit this evening. Working on the books. And what else? That's all I remember. That's all I remember. Oh, here's an update. If you had been to whistlekick.com recently and had been annoyed that only one image was showing for product, we fixed that. Took a while. It was beyond me. I spent a bunch of time on it, and we use Shopify as our sales platform, and I I mean, I'm a web guy, but I'm not great. It's not my strength. I'm good. I'm not great at it, and I'm still learning Shopify. It's only been a couple years, but I dug in and couldn't find it, so ultimately got some help, and they found it. I'm not sure what it was. Trying to get the answer, but now you can see all the pictures, and you might say, Jeremy, why do you care about pictures? Well, that's where we put our size charts. It's in the images because it's convenient. And now you can see them again. But we got some questions. If you want to ask me questions, drop them below. And while you're doing other things. So here's what I want to do. There are a number of you watching right now. A bunch of you who will watch later. I really want everyone to ask me a question. Between now and the next week, please, I'd like everyone to ask me one question. Let's spread it out. I love the questions that we get, but it's from a small group of people, and I want to expand that out. Please, please. Otherwise, I may start making up questions. That's not true. I won't do that. I only do that when nobody asks questions. All right, so we're going to do this in reverse order. So yesterday, we were talking about ice cream and determined that Cincinnati was the home of this Grater's ice cream. And so one of the comments that came in from Frank, who asked quite a few questions, advantages of coming to Cincinnati. World-class zoo, the greatest zoo in the nation. A wonderful assortment of ice cream to choose from, UDF and Grater's. A pretty good number of martial arts schools. Those are all great reasons. You know, it's funny, for those of us on, I don't know if I'll say the East Coast, but for those of us in New England, when we travel within New England, we travel to New York, we travel down the East Coast, we travel to Florida, we travel to the West Coast. We don't travel to Ohio and Illinois and Indiana. We don't travel to the middle of the country. I don't know if that's different for people in other areas. I would assume that if I lived in, let's say, Michigan, I might travel to Ohio because I could drive there. But I don't know too many people who've been to Ohio. Thus, I don't know anything about Cincinnati. So maybe I should go. Now, I am planning a vacation. I'm not going to take it in Cincinnati. Not because I don't want to come to Ohio or visit any of you, but because the budget that I have allotted for this vacation is very small, so it's going to be me driving around and doing a lot of photography. Finally figured that out yesterday. That was I knew roughly where I was going to go. I just didn't know what I was going to do. I'm going to take pictures. I love taking pictures. My last vacation was years ago in the Galapagos, and half of what I brought was camera gear. So I'm going to do that again. I'm not going to fly anywhere, but figure out the best place to take pictures. No, I'm not updating this. Remind me to update my YouTube app on this thing when I'm done, because it keeps being annoying. All right. You have frequently asked guests, how did you get started in the martial arts? What have been the most common answers? Most common answers to that question on Martial Arts Radio. People start for a couple of reasons. One, because their parents think it's a good idea. Although honestly, that's not the answer that pops up terribly often on Martial Arts Radio. I think of that because that's mine. That was my reason. People start because they see something or someone that inspires them to want to do martial arts. Usually a movie or a TV show. Sometimes it's another person. Or three, this kind of mix of self-defense, wanting to learn how to fight. People wanting to be able to feel more confident physically around others. I think that those are the three, really. There are always other reasons, but those are the big three, and honestly, the second, third are the two big ones that we hear. Next. don't forget, if you're watching this later on, subscribe, turn on notifications so you know when we're going live with this or the other things that we do. Another question that you have asked. Where'd it go? Why is this loading the wrong questions? Hold on. Technical difficulties. This is very strange. It's showing the wrong questions. There we go. Nope. Still doing the wrong things. Very weird. Well, we're gonna hold on. I'll read what I can. Another question. No. This is very irritating. It is. So here's what's going on. The comments are being transposed here. I've got comments coming through. Well, guess what? I'm going to update this app and we're going to see if it fixes it. Thanks, YouTube. All right. While I do that, I'm going to attempt to entertain you in some way. Hey, ask me questions, please. Help me out. Do that while I do this. YouTube, 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 YouTube. Update. Stupid YouTube. Ask me questions or I'm going to have to make things up. Please, there's some of you watching live. Oh, so I'll give you an update on the, I'm getting rid of everything because Chris and Holly Santillo inspired me to do that. What have I sold off? Well, much of what I have, so now that I have one car, for those of you that didn't know, I had a 4Runner, which I used when I traveled to whistlekick events. And then I had a little sports car, Scion FRS. And in an effort to simplify and save money, I consolidated, traded both. Oh, here we go. We got a question. Much rather answer the question. What's more important, sticking with the art you study because you like the club or people, or switching art for something which suits you better? That is a great question. And you know why that's a great question? Because I have faced this. I have trained at places where I love the people. I even love the instructor. But maybe the people kind of stink. Skill-wise, they're not pushing me to get better, or maybe the instructor's instruction is not very good, or just otherwise I don't feel like I'm progressing. And then the follow-up is I'm thinking of switching from Taekwondo to a grappling art. It's about your why. What is important to you about your training? What is important to me about my training? I'm fat and old and Taekwondo is hell on my knees. Okay, well, we could address that. There are things that you could do to improve joint health and, of course, to lose some weight. But that's not the question you posed, so I'm not going to talk you out of that. And by the way, grappling can be just as, if not more, challenging on joints. So you are working on that. Good, good. It depends on what's important to you. So there are, what do we get from martial arts? Different people get different things. There's the workout, there's the self-defense, there's the social component, there's, I've gone to certain martial arts groups because there was a girl I was trying to get to know. There are a lot of reasons that you can train in different places. And if your why doesn't match up anymore, then maybe you don't want to be there, or maybe you are there less. So the Taekwondo school I train in, I'm there very infrequently. I almost feel uncomfortable saying that I train there. I probably average monthly. The class is it's not terribly far. It's a 45-minute drive. But classes are Mondays and Wednesdays. Wednesday I coach CrossFit. Monday is the day of the week where things tend to blow up. If something is going to go unexpectedly, it tends to happen on Monday. I was all ready on Monday to go. I was at my office. I had my bag in the car. I was ready to go. And there were a couple things I needed to get done, and I blew it, time-wise. I blew it by about 20 minutes. That's what happened. Still love the school, still love the instructor, still love the people. But admittedly, Taekwondo is not my priority in my training. So I think it's to Daniel, who wrote in that question, I think you need to spend some time thinking about your why. If the reason that you're considering switching to grappling from Taekwondo is because Taekwondo is physically hard on your body, my guess is you're going to find that grappling is just as hard on your body. Between falling and rolling and the fact that people are submitting you, choking, arm manipulations. To be honest, I think it's more of a cliche that people get banged up in grappling than they do in striking arts. So that's something to consider. We've done a couple episodes of martial arts radio on boredom and switching schools and things like that. So you might want to check out some of those. But bottom line, if it's time to make a change, make a change. You can always go back. You're welcome. All right. Let's see if YouTube's going to be less stupid now. Thank you for the impromptu question, Daniel. Here we go. Another question you have asked is, what is keeping you going? What have been the most common answers? One of the popular answers to that question is people keep going because they don't see themselves stopping. That martial arts has become such a part of their lives, of who they are, that they don't imagine not doing it. I think I would consider myself in that group. Martial arts has given me so much that it would seem silly to stop. You also have people who are trying to accomplish things. Interestingly enough, they rarely say anything about rank. Their answers, if it's not simply for just the personal goal of continuing, it tends to be sharing. You know, quite often these questions come back with people who are in their 50s and 60s, and they want to make sure that they are giving others the opportunity to learn in the way that they had. So they want to continue teaching or take seminars or books or whatever it is, so they're trying to share their knowledge. And I think that that's awesome. They just want people to train. And while they don't articulate it in this way, I suspect that they would agree with me that everybody should train. So they're trying to make sure as many people do as possible. What do you think the relationship between these answers says about martial arts? So the first question, how'd you get started? And the answers that I gave, and then what's keeping you going? I think the people who persist in the martial arts the longest are those who start for Well, this is one of those questions that's going to be tough, not being fully awake. Pardon me a moment as I read that again. What do you think was? How did you get started? What's keeping you going? I think the thing there is that what keeps people going is not what gets them started. Nobody starts martial arts to say, martial arts makes people better and I want to do it for the rest of my life. And here I am on day one. That doesn't happen. I think what that says about martial arts is that martial arts gives people opportunity, gives people space to find themselves, their own training, to individualize. And as long as they find that, that becomes the reason that they continue. If you can think about martial arts kind of as a funnel, in that there are lots of reasons to start, but there are very few reasons to keep going. Once you get beyond a few years, you realize that, you know what, martial arts isn't the best way to get in shape. Martial arts is not the best way to make new friends, though it is a very good one. Martial arts is the best at doing a lot of different things simultaneously, and coming out of the bottom of that funnel is a better version of you. And while not everyone articulates it that way, I think everyone who continues to train recognizes that they're better, they're the better them. I'm a better Jeremy because I continue to train. And I think you reach a certain point where that becomes addictive, isn't the right word, but you just want to keep going and seeing how good can you get. Yeah, I think we'll leave that there. I'll give you your homework in a moment. Don't forget, subscribe, turn on notifications, ask me questions. If you're watching later, you can still ask questions, drop them below. If you're listening in your podcast app, and we're in all of them, you can email me, jeremy@whistlekick.com, with your questions. I love questions. I love that you guys are watching. I love that you're sharing the show. It is continuing to grow, so thank you. All right, here's your homework. I'd like you to answer those three questions for yourself. Why did you start martial arts? And be honest. Why have you continued martial arts? If there's a difference between those reasons, why did the shift happen and when? If you're comfortable answering publicly, go ahead, drop those answers below. I like seeing discussion. If you're not comfortable, you don't have to tell anybody. But I think understanding the why do you train, I think that's critical. So that's been a lot of the questions, a lot of the homework I've given you lately has been around the why. Help you understand your why. Okay? I hope you have an absolutely wonderful, wonderful day. I'm going to go get a whole bunch of stuff done, and I will see you back here tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. Peace.